Hello, welcome to Gurukul's CAT 100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Prady Sharma and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady.
Hello everyone and welcome back to day 68 of our 100 days to CAT test series. In this video, we'll be doing this passage. If you want to take this up as a test, all you've got to do is go on to www.thegurukul.org.in. If you want to follow along with this video, then this is your first paragraph. Pause the video here, read this paragraph, and then we're going to go into the second paragraph. This is your second paragraph. Pause the video here, read this paragraph, and then we're going to go into the third paragraph. This is your third and last paragraph. Pause the video here, read this paragraph, jot down all the main points, and then we'll go into the questions. This is your first question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll go into the second question. This is your second question of the day. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll go into the third question. This is your third question, guys. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll move on to the fourth question. Now, guys, this is your fourth and last question of the day. Pause the video here, answer this question, and once you're back, we'll get into the passage and question explanations. The passage says, it would be wrong to dismiss chemistry as a poor cousin of the sciences. The knowledge it produces is indispensable for forming a complete and accurate picture of nature and our place in it. So basically, what does it say? It says that we should not be dismissing chemistry as just another science. Why? Because it's giving us extremely important knowledge and it's giving us the accurate picture, okay, the real picture of nature, the entirety of nature and what is our place in it. Just as physics has its laws of motion and thermodynamics, chemistry has its own set of laws hidden within the periodic table and in the behavior of chemical reaction. Okay, so now it's comparing physics and chemistry, saying that yes, both of these has laws and these laws are hidden within the periodic table and in chemical reactions. Okay, these laws may not always be recognized on par with the physical ones, yet they underpin our understanding of everything from why a gold wedding ring does not rust to how life emerged on Earth. So basically, what's the idea that I get from this part of the passage? The first idea that I get is that chemistry is important. Okay, now, if you ask me why is chemistry important? Because it gives me indispensable knowledge. Okay, it gives me indispensable knowledge about what? About nature and us. Okay, same. Chemistry has laws. Yes, and these laws basically give us understanding, or these laws basically tell us about everything on Earth. So chemistry is a very important science, is basically what I understand from this part of the passage. Now for the second part, different scientific disciplines often jockey for position, with physicists sometimes viewing chemistry as applied physics and chemists in turn seeing biology as applied chemistry. However, this overlooks the fact that nature operates at different scales of complexity. Once you move beyond the single atoms, describing everything in terms of electrons and protons becomes cumbersome. Now what is cumbersome? Cumbersome means difficult. Okay, challenging. In this context, we can just think of it as difficult and new patterns emerge. So basically, what do we understand? We understand that, okay, all the sciences are trying to compete with each other if you know, for some kind of a position, but it is all important. All these sciences are important because nature is operating at different scales and we need to learn each of these sciences to understand the different magnitudes of nature. Now let's go to the second paragraph. Chemists uncover these patterns through tools such as periodic table, which, while famously associated with the periodic law, reveals far deeper regularities than mere classification. That means this is not just placing some elements. This has a lot more of regularities. That means it is actually going to tell us about some deeper pattern. Okay, in the 19th century, chemists like Dmitri Mendeleev, John Newlands, and Lothar Meyer each proposed new ways to arrange the elements. Mendeleev's table prevailed. That means it could stay because it could predict elements that were yet to be discovered. That means what? Why did Mendeleev's table stay? Because it had some hidden patterns. It could tell us about elements which were not even discovered. Okay. Today, elements are ordered by atomic number, and this arrangement reveals that those in the same column or row share distinctive properties. So we are now talking about the periodic table that we see today, and we know that in a periodic table, whenever there are rows or columns, there's some kind of a pattern in them, right? So alkali metals, for example, are soft and malleable. Malleable means something that can be easily beaten into sheets. Ductile means they can be drawn into wires. So from the start, chemists recognized that periodic table does more than neatly organized element. It embodies fundamental laws of chemistry. So through this periodic table, we understand that yes, there are some kind of patterns, and these patterns are the laws of chemistry which have been used to make the arrangement of elements. Now, Statements derived from this table, gold is shiny or halogens are very reactive, capture non-accidental universal patterns. That means these are patterns that happen every single time and it's not an accident. It is a given, it's a regular thing. They function exactly like physical laws which philosophers define by their universality, predictive power and capacity to support counterfactuals. So just like physical laws, okay, just like physical laws, all laws follow universality, predictive power and capacity to support counterfactuals. So these are given as the three main ways in which a law can be defined or identified. A law does not single out specific event at one specific time, rather it applies to all relevant instances. So very important thing, a law never gives out any single specific event for a specific time. It talks about all relevant instances, universal instances. If something happens today over here because of any particular reason, if the same reason, same conditions are replicated, the same thing should happen. Let's go to the next passage. By saying gold is unreactive, chemists assert something true of a chunk of gold anywhere, anytime. This explains why ancient Egyptian gold jewelry remains pristine and allows us to predict that gold discovered on some far-off planet would likewise resist corrosion. So it doesn't matter where that gold is. Is it from Egypt or some other planet altogether? If I say that gold does not react or gold is unreactive, it will resist corrosion. The properties of gold will not change depending on where they are. Nor is this lawful status confined to the periodic table. So this is not just confined to the periodic table. What else is it confined to, or what else does it expand to? If halogens are unreactive or very reactive is law-like, then so too are statements about chemical reactions such as acids react with bases to form salt and water. Whether transformations involve atoms or molecules, understanding these reactions define chemistries and underlies countless processes from digestion in our bodies to photosynthesis in plants. So even these statements and all, okay, if they are based out of chemistry, if they can be explained using atoms and molecules, all the laws of chemistry would definitely apply. The ability to manipulate reactions safely and effectively speaks to their reliable law-like nature. So how am I saying that chemistry has laws? Because we are able to manipulate reactions safely and effectively. Okay, so they are reliable. Right, so that is how we are saying that yes, whatever these statements that we are giving, they are also like laws. So chemistry's enormous theoretical and practical success would be inexplicable if its core statements were merely accidental. That means we cannot even think of success in chemistry if we think that these core statements are just accidental. That means they sometimes happen, they sometimes do not happen. If the case was that, then chemistry would not have been so successful. In truth, these chemical regularities deserve to stand alongside the better known laws of physics, underscoring the depth and rigor that chemistry brings to our understanding of the natural world. That means what? We should be putting chemical laws also right next to the physical laws and make sure that these both are having equal importance, because the laws of chemistry also tell us just as much about the world and our understanding of the world as physics does. Now that you have understood the passage, let's get into the questions. According to the author, it would be wrong to dismiss chemistry as a poor cousin of the sciences, primarily because of why should we not just throw away chemistry as a poor cousin of the sciences? Chemistry has its own laws which are as universal and predictive as the laws of physics. Fair enough. This is a good option so far. That is one reason why we should not throw out chemistry. So B says chemistry is a science like physics and biology operating at different scales of complexity. Now this is very specific, if I must say. It's a general statement that's passed. Chemistry is a science like physics and biology operating at different scales of complexity. Now, this is just a very, very general statement. Just because it's operating at different scales of complexity does not mean that I should not dismiss it. See, the answer to this is coming from the first part of the paragraph, right? So, if I go to this part, I can see that we should not change or we should not throw it away because it's giving us a lot of knowledge about our entire universe and our nature and our place in it, right? So, we are searching for that option, right? Now, this is good. If we find a better answer, we'll go for it. Otherwise, this would be our answer. But 2 is definitely not the answer that we are looking for. 3. The periodic table demonstrates the practical applicability of chemistry in organizing elements and predicting reactions. Now again, this just a statement which is given about why chemistry is important. It's not, that does not capture the essence of why we should not dismiss chemistry. So 3 is not going to be my answer. 4. Chemistry reveals patterns that cannot be fully explained by other sciences. Obviously, so if it is indispensable, why is it indispensable? Because without chemistry, we cannot actually understand most of the patterns which the other sciences are not able to explain. So 4 now is a better option than 1. So we're going to take off 1 and 4 would be our correct answer. Let's go to the second question. According to the passage, which one of the following is not a characteristic of scientific laws? So, which of these is not a characteristic of scientific laws? Now, the answer for this comes from this part. These are the characteristics of the scientific laws, right? So, universality, predictive power, and capacity to support counterfactuals. Now, what is not a characteristic? Specificity is not a characteristic. So, let's go back to the question and check the options. Universality, applying to all relevant instances across time and space. Now, this is a characteristic of the scientific laws. Predictive power, enabling accurate predictions of phenomena, again is a characteristic of the scientific laws. Specificity, addressing particular events at specific place and time, is not a characteristic of the scientific law. Explanation of counterfactuals happening under different circumstances is again a characteristic of the scientific law. So definitely the correct answer for me would be C. Let's go to the third question. It can be inferred from the passage that the periodic table, so what can I understand about the periodic table from the passage? Is unlikely to become outdated? No, obviously it is likely to become outdated, which is why we have kept on changing the periodic table, right? So there were 3 people, one of those periodic tables was selected, the other 2 were not selected. So at some point in time, those periodic tables might have also existed, right? So definitely it could get outdated. So this is not going to be my answer. Has predictive power? Fair enough. Yes. When I have a periodic table, I can get to know a lot of different patterns. So yes, B could be true. Simplifies what is complex in physics. Now again, it does not do anything about complexities of physics. Physics has separate laws, chemistry has separate laws. Both of them are operating at different scales. So C cannot be my answer. Is a fundamental law like thermodynamics. Now again, periodic table is not a fundamental law like thermodynamics. Periodic table has a lot of patterns which are fundamental like thermodynamics. So D is also not going to be my correct answer. The best possible answer becomes B. Now let's go to the last question of this passage. Which of the following statements would weaken the argument that chemistry deserves equal recognition with physics? So what should I be looking out for? I should be looking out for a statement which says that chemistry should not be getting equal recognition with physics, right? So the principles of chemistry are shaped by physics but are governed by their own unique patterns and laws. Now see, even if they are shaped by physics, yes, but they are governed by their own unique patterns and laws. So they should be given equal recognition, right? So this still says that chemistry is important, right? So this might not be my answer. Conclusions in chemistry depend on experiments that validate universal chemical patterns. Now see, if conclusions in chemistry are just dependent on what chemical patterns we are seeing all over the universe, that means chemistry should also be recognized equally, right? So this definitely is not my answer. See, chemistry is predominantly concerned with practical applications and not with fundamental truths. So if fundamental truths it's not concerned with at all, it's just practical applications, then whatever is concerned with fundamental truths will obviously be higher than chemistry, right? In that case, I cannot give chemistry the same respect or same position as the physics which is giving me fundamental truths, right? So obviously C becomes a better answer than A. So I'm going to take A away from my table. D says advances in chemistry rely on tools like the periodic table which are practical rather than theoretical in nature. So it doesn't matter if it's practical or theoretical, as long as this is able to prove and it's able to give me some kind of an indispensable knowledge, I should still be able to put it at the top. So definitely D will not be my answer. C, which says that it's only practical applications and does not concern itself with fundamental truths, that becomes the best possible answer for me. So C will be the correct answer. Now, if you watched this video till here, please do not forget to hit that like button. That motivates us a lot to keep bringing these kind of videos for you. Please share this video with a friend who is preparing for CAT 2025. Subscribe to this channel and I will see you in the next video.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, Study Room to Boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share, and subscribe.